Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kurt, and welcome back to Far Lands or Bust. This is episode 348 of Far Lands or Bust. We are continuing to walk to the Far Lands as we shovel our way out of the previous night's protective hidey hole little camp area. Fill it back in, grab our companion Wolfie, the wolf with 3D glasses, who has been with us since episode 38. This is episode 348. Many episodes you have survived and come along with us here on this journey. So let's continue walking in a westward direction. Indeed, as we have for over 3 years. And as we have for almost 3 years as well, been raising money for Child's Play charity. This is a walk-a-thon, after all. Child's Play charity helps get toys, books, and games to kids in children's hospitals and hospitals around the world. And this season, we have raised $1,541.50. Since we've started raising money for Child's Play charity, we raised over $270,000. That's insane. That's crazy, and I appreciate everybody's continued support for that. Over at farlandsorbust.com, you can donate. Woof. Indeed, Wolfie. Woof indeed. And you can leave a comment with your donation, with a question if you'd like me to talk about or answer anything and anything. Well, almost anything. You can do so, like I said, at farlandsorbust.com with your donation. I appreciate it. It has been a while since I've done a little bit of a recap. I feel as though I should. Getting a lot of questions about the series and what it's all about. So I'm going to do, in this first day of Minecraft, the Minecraft days last about 9-10 minutes. And each Far Lands or Bust episode lasts 3 Minecraft days. So we're running about 30-minute program here. And yeah, we're just walking west. Like I said, over 3 years, it's episode 348. We started the series, or, well, I started the series back in March of 2011. March 7th, specifically, was episode 1. Even back then, however, I titled it episode 001 because I anticipated needing all 3 digits. Of course, by the time we're done reaching the Far Lands, I might have needed an extra digit, so we'll see. But yeah, I started episode 1 on March 7th, 2011 is when I first uploaded it. Started it out just as a standard Let's Play that is the YouTube phenomenon of talking over video gameplay footage. A very popular thing here on YouTube, as you may know, specifically even in Minecraft. But just started it out because I'd been a fan of other Let's Players and gameplay channels that had gained popularity, and just was starting a normal Let's Play. Started building a house, built a little cabin near our spawn area. Of course, I think I started the game in Minecraft Beta 1.3, I think is when I started. So you spawned, the terrain generated around us in a snowy area, much like this one we're walking through right now. Built a log cabin, did a little bit of exploring, got some tools and diamonds, and then decided around episode 11, well, exactly episode 11, hey, it was actually about the same time that Notch, the game's creator, wrote a blog post about the terrain generation and kind of explained the idea of how the programming is involved and what creates these rocks that we're walking past, and the difference between the snow biomes and why these trees show up here versus over there, and the terrain scatter, and also the problems that are involved with the mathematics that go behind the programming. The 32-bit floating point situation with the positioning of the player and what happens when you get a certain distance out. The Far Lands occur, and I saw that, and Notch said, oh, we're not gonna, I'm not planning on fixing the Far Lands, even though it is technically a bug, a rounding error, I suppose, when chunks start to mess up, chunks being the little areas of land they start to screw up and overwrite each other. Whoa, almost fell in a hole there. They start to screw up and overwrite each other, and we get the phenomenon of the Farlands. He's like, I'm not going to fix that bug because a player playing the game of Minecraft under normal circumstances will never get that far and never see them. So I'm not gonna fix them. And honestly, the fact that they do exist gives a little bit of a mystique and an air of mystery and novelty to this place so far away from where the player plays the game. And I saw that and said, nay, a challenge here. This is a challenge. I accept this challenge, and we will begin walking west towards the Farlands. And indeed I did. I had no idea how far they were at the time. I really didn't do my proper research. But we began the journey, and here we are, over 3 years later. 3 years later and 348 episodes later. Back, people always ask me how far I have walked. And back on March 1st, 2014 was the last time I pressed F3. F3 in this game is a little bit of a debug screen. It pulls up a lot of information about the game, about the memory usage and technical details, but also, more importantly, the coordinates, the X, Y, Z coordinates of where your player exists on the world. Like I said, you spawn near, not technically at 0, 0, as far as the coordinates are concerned, but you normally spawn when you're playing a new world around 0, 0. And back on March 1st, 2014, the last Flobathon, the season finale, as it were, I finally pressed F3 after 12 hours of live streaming, and at the time, after over 300 some odd episodes of Farlands or Bust, we pressed F3 and found we were at 1,479,940 blocks from spawn, from 0, 0. And each block in Minecraft is a meter, so that's 1,479 kilometers from spawn. We had been walking. It's crazy and amazing, of course. Well, walking and boating. I'm going to jump in a boat right now and continue west, but sometimes there's oceans and it's a little bit quicker to travel by boat, and Wolfie will swim behind. But yeah, still a long ways to go. It's amazing. After 3 years, we've walked this far, but the Farlands are at 12,550,820 blocks. So we're only about 12% of the way there after 3 years, which is still, we're doing this without cheating, no teleporting. We're traveling via the overworld here. We're not using any fly mods. This is just a guy, just a crazy guy named KurtJMac pressing W most of the time to travel forward. In vanilla Minecraft, trying to prove not wrong, accepting his challenge. So yeah, 12%. It's amazing that it's still a measurable amount, but people have calculated. There have been many calculations about the rate at which I travel. Under circumstances of a super flat world, that is a completely flat world where there's no terrain or mountains or trees or anything or oceans, people have calculated if you hold W in a super flat world and try to walk to the Farlands, it would take you 820 hours. Of course, I'm weaving and going up and down and stopping and sleeping at night, and I have this wolf to take care of. It's going to take longer. And people have done math based on my current rates and say, oh, it will take you an additional like 3,000 episodes and 22 years to reach the Farlands. That's still possible. I don't know if YouTube will be around then or what's going to happen in 22 years, but just the fact that it still is possible within a lifetime and within a reasonable amount of time to reach the Farlands, I am still optimistic. And of course, it has become more than just reaching the Farlands. It's about enjoying the journey, about sharing stories with you guys and raising money for charity as we've been doing. Even more importantly, you know, the more important numbers than the distance and the save file. Oh, by the way, the save file, the world saves every bit of land we've been walking through. The save file I checked just before this episode is 11,718 megabytes, so over 11.5 gigabytes of disk space being taken up by simply walking in one direction in Minecraft. But yeah, more important than all those numbers is, of course, what we've helped out for charity. And as the in-game music starts to play in the background, that's going to close out this day And I hope that was a very helpful recap for you guys. We're going to continue walking, and I will start answering some of your questions from donations when we stop here. So let me get out of bed. Your Minecraft bed resets your spawn. So in the unlikely event... Oh gosh, speaking of unlikely events, there's a very dangerous chasm right next to where I chose. Ooh, let's block that off so Wolfie doesn't fall down in the meantime. All right, now let's make the bed. Yeah, but when I sleep, it resets my spawn. I've never died. I haven't lost a character. Whoops, I did just throw my clock, however. I've never died in Far Lands or Bust, but if I do, I should spawn back at my previous bed, so at most I would lose only a Minecraft day's worth of progress. So that's why I sleep every night, but we're going to sleep, and like I said, we'll continue with this episode and your questions in the morning. And a recapness. Indeed. Ow! Alright, let's continue on. I'm going to... if for some reason it seemed like the previous day I was talking to you as if you've never seen an episode of Far Lands or Bust, there's a reason for that. You will see that soon enough. I don't know what I can tell you just yet, but that will have a use elsewhere. But now we're going to continue with a normal edition of Far Lands or Bust. I hope that brought you up to speed. I know that I get some... I don't mind. I'm going to keep doing it. I do what I want, but I get some flack sometimes for doing too many recaps, and for the longtime fans, they get bored, but... There's a reason for that will become clear in the coming weeks, hopefully. But yeah, I hope that was a good enough recap for you guys who maybe that did serve a purpose here in Far Lands or Bust. Some new fans understand. I didn't explain things like the jitteriness. We're starting to see the jitteriness, and the block selection is off-center high, and that's due to the imprecision now as we get further and further as that coordinate gets larger and larger. The math, the rounding errors don't quite precisely know where the world is in relation to me, so things like that, or if I drop the compass down, the world jitters, but the compass doesn't. That's because it is an entity and not in a block. And neighbors are home. Good thing that didn't happen yet, but yeah, that's why that jitteriness happened. So anyway, let's continue on. And yeah, let me get to some questions. That last episode, I talked a lot about Comcast and net neutrality, and I had a lot of space news and stuff. Let's get back to the core of Far Lands or Bust. I do actually, I have a little bit of space news. I just want to give you guys a heads up. I know I have some fans in Australia. Tomorrow, Tuesday, April 29th, is going to be the first solar eclipse of 2014, and it's only going to be visible via Australia. Via Australia, or located in Australia. Ooh, look at this crazy place. It's only going to be visible in Australia at sunset, or before sunset. And it's a annular solar eclipse. This is where the moon passes in front of the sun, but the moon is at a distance where it appears smaller than the circumference of the sun, so therefore you get a little ring when when the moon is in front of the sun. You still get the complete ring of the sun around it. So not a total solar eclipse, but an annular solar eclipse. Still amazing thing. So if you're in Australia, in Yoe, we have not, or I have not seen a solar eclipse ever. I saw a couple years ago the beginnings of one. That was the first time. Just at sunset. I didn't think I was going to be able to see it, but there was an annular solar eclipse here in the United States. It was most preferable for those in the West Coast to be able to see the most of it, but just as the sun was setting, saw a little bit of a cookie bite as the moon started passing in front of the sun, and I had my solar eclipse glasses left over from the transit of Venus, and I was actually able to see that little cookie bite, and it was amazing. It literally took my breath away, because again, just like the lunar eclipse, just like the transits, and just like whoops, what just happened? Just like the I talk about when different planets are aligned in the sky, conjunctions they're called. It gives you that depth that you don't get normally when you're looking at the sky. You start to really realize your place in this three-dimensional universe and solar system, and I don't think there's anything that can compare to a solar eclipse to really drive that home. So eventually, there's another one similar to that happening in October in North America, where I might be able to catch just the fraction of a solar eclipse just before sunset. But again, it covers most of the West Coast. But yeah, anyway, tomorrow, April 29th, Tuesday, before sunset, if you're in Australia, preferably, I think it covers, it will be visible throughout all of Australia, but the majority of it will be Western Australia, or Antarctica, if you're watching from Antarctica. the coast, the northern-ish coast of Antarctica. Is there a northern coast of Antarctica? Wouldn't that be all of the coast of Antarctica? I don't know how that works when you're down there. But I suppose, yeah, the coasts facing Australia is going to get a bit of that. But otherwise, it's mostly across the Indian Ocean there is where it's covering pretty not occupied land, or not land at all. So yeah, enjoy that. I'll be looking forward to seeing some pictures of that, hopefully, on the internets and the Twitters and whatnot. Oh, speaking of Twitters and stuff, I was having some fun. Careful, Wolfie, did you just take some damage? I was having some fun on Twitter, posting pictures. I was apparently live tweeting my spring cleaning. I was talking about before electronics and trying to collect old computers and stuff to recycle. There's special electronics recycling because in my municipality it is now illegal to dispose of electronics in the trash, in regular waste that would go to a landfill. You have to take it to a recycling place. So that's what I'm trying to do. I had an old Dell computer. It was a Pentium 4, the old Dell computer. This isn't the computer I started Farlands or Bust Down. That was a Core 2 Duo. That one's still in service. This is an even older computer that you guys have no idea about. I had it since 2002 for college, and took some pictures of that, and it was really those wacky Dell, not Inspiron, those were the laptops. I mean, or is it? No, Dell. Anyway, the big old plastic Dell cases that when you take them up, when you go to the inside, to the guts, they fold in half. They like split apart like a clam, and on one side are all the disk drives, and on the other side is the motherboard and cards and things like that. And it's just a really wacky way to build a computer. But I pulled the old IDE hard drives out of that for security's sake, and it does have a Zip 250 drive, and an internal Zip 250 drive. Ooh, spared no expense there, Kurt. But yeah, that was the way to store data back in the day. For us graphic designers had large files. We had large, at least like 1 or 2 megabyte image files and Quark Express files and stuff that we had to save to zip drives, because your floppy drives could only carry 1.4 megabytes. So the zip drives are, ooh, good times indeed. But yeah, that I'm going to be recycling. I have these old, you'll know I talked about early on in Farlands Bust, I had old USB drives, an old 1.5 terabyte, and then that died, and I replaced it with a 3 terabyte. The first one was Western Digital, the other one was Seagate. Yeah, I think it was Seagate. I'm assuming, because I was still able to at times access the data, I just couldn't copy or retrieve any of the data on the drive. So I'm assuming the drives themselves are fine. It's just the controllers that went bad after about a year, both times. So I cracked those open. You literally have to destroy those in order to get the drives out. Ooh, this is a nice little area. Hi. I cracked those open to get the bare drives out, so I'm going to test those to see if the drives work, but the actual shells and controllers I'm recycling. And then a bunch of old phones. I, for some reason, kept all the old phones I had from my old carrier. I was with US Cellular, and then they got bought out. All right, no, they didn't get bought out. They sold their Chicago customers to Sprint. They got out of the Chicago market and sold them to Sprint, and I was like, screw you guys then. So yeah, I had a bunch of old flip phones. I had a flip phone. I think I started Farlands or Bust back in March 2011. I was still using a dumb phone, a flip phone. I think I only got a smartphone at the time, I think it was about that summer, July, when I was going to the SpaceX NASA social. I'm like, I should get a smartphone for the SpaceX, the NASA social, so I can tweet on the go. Of course, it didn't work out too well because the cellular coverage at Kennedy Space Center is not that great. But yeah, up until then, I had a flip phone. I held out for quite a while, and even before then, I don't think I got a cell phone at all until I was well out of college. It had to be 2005 or 2006 before I actually got a cell phone, period. But yeah, I had all these old flip phones that I was going through and factory resetting and deleting all the data from them. And I was just making fun of, it would be funny to take one of these, go out into a public place, have like an illegal conversation, illegal sounding conversation, be like, just make sure it looks like an accident. And then snap the phone in half and throw it in the trash like they do in House of Cards. I don't know if you watch House of Cards, but there's a lot of... They always have burner phones where they, like, make their deals and wheels, their wheels and deals, their wheeling and dealing. And then, you know, whenever they're like, lose this number, they snap the phone in half and throw it in the trash. Susan, I need another burner phone. So I was making a joke about that. But yeah, I was having some fun on Twitter with that. So yeah, I lied. This day of Minecraft, I was still going to talk about things. But in the next day, I will actually answer some user questions from donors. They're starting to pile up. So let's do that in the morning. Oh, whoops. I had awakeness. I got kind of carried away with my snoring there. I slept in. Give me a break. It's been a long walk. But yeah, let's answer some questions here from people who donated to Child's Play charity. L. Zorath PS asked, has going gluten-free caused you to find interesting food that you wouldn't have tried before? I don't know, not really. It doesn't so much change the food you eat as it does restrict it, so it's not like going gluten-free opens up a world of new foods to try and enjoy. It really restricts you. I mean, I suppose I've mentioned many times before, pasta, obviously you can't have pasta, the wheat-based pasta, but the corn spaghetti that's made out of corn is really quite good, and I enjoy it. So, as an alternative to your wheat pastas, your standard pastas... Oh, there it is. It's like I'm running out of wood. No, it's right there. Aside from that, yeah, that's very cool. But yeah, I don't know that any, like, new food has ever, like... been birthed of my newly found freedom from gluten. I recently tried... I know a lot of people... I liked beer, and a lot of people have recommended as an alternative to beer. I've tried some of the gluten-free beers, and... but a lot of people have recommended cider as an alternative to beer. And tried some cider recently. It was actually at a place that does like a black and tan, except I think it was a raspberry cider and then a standard apple cider, and they they pour it in the same glass and they separate out. It's kind of cool, but I don't know, not a fan of the cider. I cannot foresee it being a good beer replacement. It's just really tart. It like stings a little bit. And it's the fruitiness, the citrus side of it, it's not refreshing to me like a beer sometimes can be, and it's just not, I don't know, it's more like wine, like grapes, wine, etc. It's more like wine to me than beer, and I'm sure maybe, well, it's fermented and stuff, so I suppose the process is more like beer than wine, but, it's not... I mean, I like wine, too. I'm okay with red wine or whatever, but again, not... Woof, yeah, I know. Not not my favorite thing, so I don't believe a cider person is somebody I'm going to become. But I tried it, and I probably would never have tried it had I, I would have ordered a beer. I just tried to shear this pig. That's unfortunate. Yeah, let's do that. And actually, well, I think, yeah, that's why I actually do want to remove these pigs. Thank you. Obtain their resources. So now we have some additional treats for Wolfie. Let's go shear this sheep over here. So yeah, but otherwise, can't say so much. So yeah, sorry, not too much I could say in regards to that. Alzareth asks some more questions. Have you ever considered leaving some... Oh, speaking of the garage, leaving some grease with 3D glasses in front of your neighbor's garage? No, I've considered, like, slipping them the business card of the garage mechanic who came and fixed my garage when I first moved in as well. It's something with the garages. They're not the highest spec garage doors. They get out of alignment and they start to get really squeaky and stuck. But yeah, I had the spring broke on my garage door, and I had somebody come out and fix it, and along with it, they lubed it up and fixed the alignment and whatnot, and mine runs much smoother and quieter now. So that I've considered doing that, but no, I have not done that. And then they ask, who would cross the bridge of death? Must answer these questions 3 ere the other side he see. What is your name? KurtJMac. What is your quest to reach the far lands of Minecraft? What is the airspeed velocity of an unladen Wolfie? Well, we found out in the previous episode when he spawned midair and fell into the water. But I've got no time for that because we just found a spawner. Did that just rhyme? I think that rhymed. I think we're making it across this bridge. Spawner! Alright, kind of concerned. It's obviously a zombie spawner, and there is a zombie nearby. The previous spawner, there was a, Hi. There was a... I should block this off is what I should do. Oh, I haven't enough blocks. Alright, let's bleep. I said bleep, blop, bleep, blop. There we go. Why does that happen? You update water and then it suddenly flows further than it originally was. You don't make the sense of Minecraft. There it is. Ah! Jeez, that was loud. Saddlebread. Oh, I was down a heart before, wasn't I? I must have accidentally eaten some of Wolfie's treats at some point. Oh, hi guy. How are you? Receive death from the diamond sword of spawn pointiness. Oh, and only one chest. Cheapskate. Cheapskate. Alright, let's get out of here. Oh, I hear a skeleton too. Alright, we gotta really get out of here. Geet. 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 Alright. Let's go. No, I don't need this sand. Remove yourself from my inventory, sand. That was pointless. Oh gosh, I think there's like another one down there, but I don't really see it, so I'm not gonna look at it. So yeah, thanks for the donation and the strange assortment of questions, Alzarath PS. From J5276. When was the last time you had something that happened in a film or TV show accidentally spoiled for you? Gravity got spoiled for me because I was reading a review, and it was a review where they were talking about the science. And they talked about the part where George Clooney is hanging by a wire, and all relative momentum had stopped, but he was still getting pulled away somehow, and that part of it was spoiled for me. Although I thought there might have been a twist. There is kind of a twist later on that you may not have expected if you didn't see Gravity. It's been a while. I don't think I can spoil anything for anything, but that was the last time. I didn't care too much about it. I'm not. I think people freak out too much about spoilers. And then, you know, oh, the Walking Dead spoilers, oh, this or that spoilers, and I don't, it's not that big a deal, people. What's the deal with people freaking out about spoilers? So yeah, that was probably the last time that happened. Oh, let's make another boat here. I like the way that the jibe of that mountain over there. I like the cut of its jib, the jib of its cut, the sand of its upwardness. And then J5 goes on, and was it someone on the internet? Oh yeah. Have you ever accidentally spoiled something for somebody else? If I did, they didn't tell me. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't talk to that many people. Chicken. There we go. Let's do this. I can spoil gravity for you. George Clooney dies. George Clooney does not survive. Or does he? Bum, bum, bum. Oh, man. Let's see. From Grumpy Old Man, do you find the lack of food stacking in Beta 173 annoying or an interesting challenge? Ooh, I'm going to continue going this way. There's still some sun to set. What sort of challenges does playing in such an old version of Minecraft present? I don't find the food stacking that big of a deal because food isn't as essential of a resource as it is in the new versions of the game where you have to completely, continually keep your hunger bar upwards, your haunches, your meat sticks. Watch it, pig. Watch it. So yeah, so I've just found I used to keep like stuff like bread and stuff in my inventory, but I found just keeping a stack of wheat obtained via the chests in spawners is enough, and if I do need to recover, I'll just accidentally eat some pork chops from Wolfie, or I'll craft some bread to recover the health. So no such challenge with that. Ooh. Also, what did they ask? What other sort of challenges? Not that many. It's pretty simple of a game here in this regard. I suppose, although I don't, they say they fixed the wolf AI, but I never saw any evidence for that in the latest versions of the game either, so I'm not sure that that's a positive or a detriment, and anyway, that's Wolfie's personality now anyway. So, yeah, I'm not sure. I suppose just having to repeat to people over and over and over again what version of Minecraft I'm playing. Why do you have a hunger bar? Why can't you sprint? Sprint there. Oh, I can't. Woo, blah, blah, blah. Let's, I need to... I guess we could do this. Like this. Oh. Hold on, Wolfie. I'm going to make you a little platform for which to stand on. No. I don't need you to go in here. Excuse me. Don't go in the water. Dave Matthews Band. There we go. How's that? A little dock for you to enjoy. A dock M77. All right, let's block off the entrance here. Good night, Wolfie. Let's make this a full-size one. And yeah. I don't know if there's any specific challenges. Being wooed by the amazing Beta 173 terrain generation, only to be disappointed with the current terrain generation when I go to play the recent versions of Minecraft on the Minecraft server. Is that a challenge? I don't know. Indeed. Well, I suppose having to use the old launcher for such a time, and then now kind of having to watch my memory, because there's some serious memory issues with this version of the game. So, but each episode is short enough where we don't run into that too frequently. But yeah, I appreciate you guys watching this episode 348 of Far Lands or Bust, and dealing with that first day of incredibly simplistic and mundane explanation as to what Far Lands or Bust is. It will make sense in a moment. Just give me a week or two and I'll show you guys what that was actually for. Hopefully it works out. I don't want to say anything in case it doesn't work out, but who cares? I just spit on my monitor. That's disgusting. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your continued support for Child's Play charity at farlandsbust.com. And for my YouTube channel, subscribe, hit that like button, do all that you can to help help bring other Farlanders into existence. My name is Kurt. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you next time.